Before she had time to break out, the little boy's mother angrily said to her indiscriminately, "Your child is simply lawless, without any education, and even dares to beat my son. Do you know who I am?" He smiled and argued with a grieved face, "I didn't hit him. He wanted to hit me, and he called me a wild child without a father." It turns out that someone raises something that no one teaches you. Your adults don't teach you. I'll teach you. The little boy's mother said and walked over to Xiao Xiao, and she really wanted to do it. Jinyi was instantly furious, protecting Xiao Xiao behind him, as if he wanted to do something at any time, and said angrily, "You dare to touch her and try. Two parents, don't do it." The teacher also discovered the situation here and hurried to stop it. "It's just too late." The little boy's mother rushed to Jinyi, reaching out and scratching her face. "Look, I won't tear your face." Jinyi is known as the Qin family's little pepper. How can this bitch take advantage? Before the other party touched her, she had already kicked out. Ouch. The little boy's mother was kicked in the stomach by the high-heeled shoes. When the middle-aged man saw Jinyi for the first time, he was astonished, but at this time his wife was beaten, and he didn't care about looking at the beautiful woman, so he slapped him when he rushed up. The people around were all surprised. They didn't expect a man to attack a woman in public. "Auntie." Seeing that Jinyi was about to be slapped, he laughed, and shouted, and rushed over. Jinyi was shocked. It was impossible to dodge. She watched the other party slap getting closer and closer, and she closed her eyes subconsciously. Snapped. But at this moment, an afterimage suddenly appeared and grabbed onto the middle-aged man's wrist. What? The pain in the wrist made the middle-aged man scream in pain. Jinyi heard the screams, opened her eyes, and saw it brought back in front of her dad. Xiao Xiao recognized her father just by seeing the back, and shouted in surprise. Yang Chen didn't let go, and suddenly said, "Block Xiaoxiao's eyes." Hearing Yang Chen's voice, Jinyi knew who had rescued him. She hurriedly said, "Oh, blocking Xiaoxiao's eyes. Let go of me." The middle-aged man blushed with pain, looked at Yang Chen and roared, "You know I'm..." Bang. Before he finished pretending to say, there was a sudden strong pain in his stomach, and then the whole figure flew away like a ball, and fell heavily on the ground. The audience was dead silent, and everyone was shocked. Jinyi saw with his own eyes that Yang Chen kicked an adult man of about 180 pounds into the air and flew 7 or 8 meters away. Her delicate face was full of astonishment. "Dad. Why are you here?" Xiao Xiao broke free from Jinyi's hand, and rushed towards Yang Chen with a look of joy. Picking up his daughter, Yang Chen's face was full of a soft smile. "Of course I came to pick up Xiao Xiao and go home." Just witnessed Yang Chen kicking the middle-aged man, and then looking at Yang Chen's soft face at this time, Jinyi couldn't help asking himself, is this still the waste brother-in-law who is looked down upon by everyone? "Xiaodong, have you seen it? I'm not a wild child, I have a father. And he is my father." Xiao Xiao suddenly looked at the little boy and said proudly. The little boy burst into tears with a wow. He just saw Xiaoxiao's father with his own eyes and kicked his father away. This scene left an indelible impression on the little boy. After Yang Chen heard his daughter's words, he couldn't tell how uncomfortable it was in his heart. For Xiao Xiao, having a complete family was an extravagant hope. Just seeing her father would make her happy like this. It was the first time that Jinyi saw Xiao Xiao so happy, rubbed her red eyes, and sighed inwardly. "Boy, you dare to hit me, wait for me." After a long while, the middle-aged man stood up, his eyes were full of strong anger, and he made a phone call directly. "Two parents, the children are just joking around. Don't get angry with each other. This will not affect the children well." The principal of the kindergarten also came out to mediate. With an arrogant face, he said, "President Lin, don't bother, my Zhang Guangtang Zhang family was beaten by an unknown junior. If you don't find the place and spread the word, where do you put your face?" Jinyi's face was very ugly. She whispered beside Yang Chen. He is from the Zhang family. You leave with a smile. I am a woman. He can't do anything to me. Yang Chen glanced at Qin Yi in surprise. He didn't expect this woman to have such a loyal side, but it was already too late. At this time, 3 Jinbei vans came quickly and stopped at the entrance of the kindergarten. 5 or 6 strong men walked out of each car. Who moved my brother Guan? Get out yourself. The man at the head roared. Xiao Xiao trembled in fright, and wrapped her arms around Yang Chen's neck tightly. Suddenly, a chill broke out in Yang Chen's body, and the temperature in the space seemed to drop several degrees. Qin Yi couldn't help shuddering, and looked at the man beside him with a look of horror. Smile. Don't be afraid. With your father's protection, no one can hurt you. Yang Chen said softly. Yang Chen's words are very useful. He is not afraid of smiling at all. He flashes his big watery eyes. Dad, is it true? Dad never lies. Yang Chen looked solemn. After he finished speaking, he looked at Qin Yi. You leave with a smile first, and I will handle the matter here. Dad, I don't want to leave you. When Xiao Xiao heard her father's words, she was in a hurry, her hands gripped even tighter, and there was some crying in her voice. Brother Chen, take your sister-in-law first. I don't know when, an iron tower-like figure appeared beside Yang Chen. Hearing Ma Chao's words, Yang Chen frowned with 3 black lines. Which I did you see that she was his sister-in-law? Chapter 14. Jin Yukiao's face flushed, but she just glanced at Ma Chao coldly. At the same time, in his heart, he was very curious about where Yang Chen went and what he did over the years. Yang Chen was able to kick Zhang Guang 7 or 8 meters away with one kick. This is not something that ordinary people can do. Now, suddenly, a fierce and strong man like Ma Chao has appeared. He disappeared for 5 years, wouldn't he be the boss of an underground force? Such an idea suddenly popped into Qin Yi's mind. If Yang Chen knew, Qin Yi's thoughts at this moment would definitely be surprised by her rich imagination. When Yang Chen passed Ma Chao with Xiao Xiao in his arms, he suddenly said in a low voice, This is not the northern border, don't cause any fatalities. Brother Chen, don't worry, I know what to do. Ma Chao responded. Their conversation happened to be heard by Qin Yi, so she was more sure of her guess. Did they really kill someone? She was about to cry in fright. Where is the north? Who are they? Along the way, Qin Yi didn't even dare to let out the air, and drove honestly, fearing that he would annoy Yang Chen and kill himself. Inside the car, Xiao Xiao always hugged Yang Chen's neck tightly and didn't let go, for fear of losing her father again. 20 minutes later, he finally arrived at the Qin family compound. As soon as she entered the door, she met Zhou Yukui. She saw Yang Chen holding a smile. Her face changed suddenly. She picked up the broom at hand and chased after Yang Chen. You bastard, how dare you come to my house? Zhou Yukui was out of breath. After Qin Yi knew about Yang Chen's secret, how could he dare to let his mother play tricks in front of him? He quickly grabbed his mother's hand. Mom, don't be impulsive. He's just sending Xiao Xiao home. He'll leave right away. Laughing and crying, I don't want to be a wild child without a father. Qin Shi and Qin's father also rushed over when they heard the sound. What happened? Qin Yi briefly explained the whole story. Qin Shi's heart was twisted like a knife. From today, you can stay at home. Everyone was shocked. How could Mother Qin let Yang Chen stay? Are you crazy? What about you and Wang Jian if you leave him behind? Mom, do you have to force me? If you want him to go, then Xiao Xiao and I will go with him. Qin Shi choked. If it wasn't for her daughter, even if she died, she would never leave Yang Chen. She just wanted her daughter to have a complete home. Yang Chen was very surprised. He didn't expect that Qin Shi would let him stay in this house. He wanted to be with Qin Shi and his daughter in his dreams. Qin Yi also persuaded at this time, Mom, just let him live for the sake of laughing. Seeing his daughter's pain, Qin Deong also sighed and persuaded, since my daughter said so, then let him stay. Zhou Yukui glared fiercely at her husband. She knew in her heart that it was impossible to drive Yang Chen away, so she said, It's okay to live in. but you have to pay the rent of 5,000 yuan per month on time. I will draw up a contract for you. If you agree, you can stay. Not to mention 5,000, even if it is 50 million, he is willing. Yang Chen quickly agreed, and followed Qin Zai Xiao upstairs. Looking at the back of the family of three leaving, Qin Yi's eyes were full of complexity. She sighed softly, and said in her heart, if it wasn't for the incident 5 years ago, how good would it be if you two really loved each other again? Soon, there were bursts of laughing and cheerful voices from Qin Shi's room. Zhou Yuqi's face was unhappy. It's all a group of white-eyed wolves. Mom, I'm not a white-eyed wolf. When I marry into the Su family, who would dare to underestimate us? Knowing that Zhou Yuqi was very unhappy, Qin Yi put her arms around her neck and said with a smile. Speaking of the Su family, Zhou Yuqi's unhappiness disappeared, and she said happily, the Su family sent so many colorful gifts, and they can be hired by the Yanjin group. Yi will let me worry about it. From now on, my mother hopes to live a good life with you. In the evening, Xiao Xiao followed her father to lay the ground floor very unconscionably, because the first time she slept with her father, the little girl was very happy, and she fell asleep very late. Looking at the daughter in his arms, Yang Chen looked satisfied, but the guilt in his heart deepened. Qin Shi was lying on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep. Her heart was in chaos. Are you worried about the cooperation with Yanjin group? Yang Chen suddenly asked. Qin Shi said coldly, shut up. Stop arguing and laughing. Yang Chen smiled bitterly and stopped talking. This is destined to be a sleepless night. Early the next morning, when Qin Shi woke up, Yang Chen had already left. 5 years of military career made Yang Chen's work and rest very regular, and training every morning was an essential item. As soon as Xiao Xiao opened her eyes, she found that her father was gone, and started crying again. No matter how coaxed Qin Shi was, she didn't stop crying until Yang Chen came back. By the time Xiao Xiao was coaxed to kindergarten, he was already half an hour late. Sanhe Group, top floor. The meeting room was full of people, because today was the day when the Zhang family in Zhangzhou signed a contract with the Qin family. The Zhang family is a second-class family in Zhangzhou, and it almost became a first-class family last year, and the family assets are a few blocks away from the Qin family. It's still Xiaofei who is so powerful that he was able to win the cooperation with the Zhang family. What's this? Xiaofei even got through the relationship with the Yanjin group. It's not too much of a minute to talk about cooperation after Qin Shi's return. Did you know? Qin Shi, that silly girl, waited at the gate of Yanjin group for a day yesterday, but the company's gate didn't go in. It made me laugh to death. Haha. There was a smoky atmosphere in the conference room, and everyone surrounded Qin Fei laughing loudly. There are still 2 days left. As long as the cooperation cannot be won, Qin Shi should get out of the Qin family. When the time comes, I will take you to the play. Qin Fei said with a proud face. Haha, for the first time I want time to go by faster. Someone said with a big laugh. At this moment, footsteps suddenly sounded in the corridor outside, and the noise stopped immediately. The old man Qin walked into the conference room with a middle-aged man talking and laughing. I'm here to introduce to you, this is President Zhang, the next head of the Zhang family. Today, he represents the Zhang family to sign a cooperation agreement with our Qin family. Welcome. The old man introduced. After touting each other, the two sides entered the process of signing an agreement. But at this moment, Qin Shi and Yang Chen rushed to the company. I'm sorry, Grandpa, Yang Chen and I took Xiao Xiao to kindergarten for a delay. As soon as Qin Shi entered the conference room, he quickly apologized. President Zhang, who was just about to sign, heard the words kindergarten, raised his head subconsciously, and saw Yang Chen at a glance. It's you. President Zhang slammed the pen on the table. Only then did Yang Chen notice that this person was actually Zhang Guan, who was kicked flying by him in the kindergarten yesterday. Chapter 15. For a time, everyone's eyes fell on Yang Chen. Mr. Zhang, don't pay attention to this rubbish. After signing the contract, I will settle the account with him. The old man also felt that the atmosphere was a little wrong, and urged him quickly. I also signed a fart. Zhang Guang directly tore the contract in half, pointed at Yang Chen and said angrily, I wanted to settle the bill with you, but I didn't expect you to belong to the Qin family. You know what will happen if you offend me, Zhang Guang. Yesterday, Zhang Guang was kicked by Yang Chen first, and then a group of people he called was beaten by Ma Chao alone, and even himself was beaten. He was thinking about how to take revenge, but the opportunity came. What? You dare to offend President Zhang? You don't know how to live or die. Qin Fei looked surprised and quickly said, Mr. Zhang, this kid is not from the Qin family, he has nothing to do with us. Go to Nima. Zhang Guang punched Qin Fei in the face. It's called Grandpa, and he said it's okay. If he wants to cooperate with us, he's just a dream. Don't even think about it. Qin Shi heard Qin Yi talk about the kindergarten last night, and knew that Yang Chen had beaten Zhang Guang, but she never thought that the two would meet so soon, and it was such an important occasion. The old man was also anxious, and hurried forward. Mr. Zhang, this bastard really has nothing to do with the Qin family. As long as you say a word, I will expel them from the family now. Please think about the cooperation. Qin Shi, looking at the good things your waste husband has done, even President Zhang dares to offend him. It's just the disaster star of the Qin family. It almost destroyed the Qin family 5 years ago, and today it's going to ruin the good thing of the Qin family. Chairman, expel them all from the family now. For a time, the entire conference room was filled with the expulsion of Yang Chen and Qin Shi by the Qin family's direct line, and they could not wait to do it. Zhang Guang, who was still very angry at first, saw that the Qin family didn't want to see Yang Chen so much, and his anger subsided in an instant. He glanced at Yang Chen thoughtfully, and then said, It's not impossible to continue with our Zhang family, but I want this kid to kneel down and beg me. Zhang Guang's words came out, and a strong killing intent flashed in Yang Chen's eyes. Hearing the words, the old man didn't hesitate at all, and scolded Yang Chen, Damn, don't kneel down and beg President Zhang to let the Qin family go. Yang Chen stood upright, his indifferent eyes suddenly fell on the old man, and said coldly, You don't even know what happened between me and him, so you want me to kneel down and beg him?
Ulat.